Hi, my name is Nicole Peel. I am the founder of Jean Peel's Luxurious Collection, also known as JP Lux. I am an artist and soap maker and the owner of a bath and body company. I wanted to come on and just talk about briefly, give a testimony for working with my experience working with Wendy Alexander. I happened across Wendy on Instagram in maybe 2017. Started following her on Instagram, followed her over to Periscope, and decided that I wanted her to coach me. It was awful, an awful time for me. I was in the middle of a really, really bad divorce. I was actually homeless, living in my car, living in a extended stay hotel with two teenage girls. And every week I went downstairs in the lobby of that hotel where my girls sat upstairs. I slept upstairs getting ready for school. And Wendy and I did our coaching sessions. And I was not mentally or emotionally in the place to put into practice that anything Wendy said. I just wasn't in the place, but I knew that that was my time, that I needed to hear from her, get some guidance from her. Um, Part of our conversations were her just praying for me because, again, it was an awful, awful time. Fast forward, things are great now for me. And the it's interesting how things go full circle. So everything, all the notes that I took when Wendy was talking to me and I was sitting in the hotel lobby and people were eating breakfast and I'm having to sit in a corner and do these Zoom calls with her. I took notes, extensive notes on everything she talked about. She talked about doing business overseas. She would talk about that on Instagram Live. She would talk about that on Periscope. And when we were doing our coaching sessions, she talked about doing business overseas. I wasn't even doing business in the hotel or in the town I lived in, so much less overseas. But fast forward, I kept my notes. I moved a couple of times, and I always kept my notebook that had the notes in it that I got from Wendy. And I had, now that I'm a soap maker, I had the opportunity to teach a soap making class in 2021, spring of 2021. And since then, that has taken off completely. And as of today, this is May something, 8th or the 9th, 2023. So in about 2 years, I've taught to date about 270 women in 10 different countries how to make soap, coaching them about their soap making business. The small things that Wendy talked about in the course, doing business overseas and in our coaching sessions, it was simple things that made all the difference. So everything doesn't revolve around my system here in the US. So something as simple, just give you a couple of examples of what made me a trusted resource. I'm confident in saying in our world, our soap making world, I am a subject matter expert and a trusted resource. I've put a lot of time and a lot of money to perfect this craft. So when I started teaching it, I needed to know what I was talking about and I needed to know who my audience was. So one of the very first people that I taught that was outside of the US was in London. And I made it a point, had my cheat sheet beside me. I learned how to measure in ounces. I can't process measuring in grams. And that's all she measured in was in grams. So as we talked and we created her soap recipes and we talked about soap and we talked about lye and oils and butters and all those things that make me so happy about soap making. I was talking in grams and she said, thank you for saying this in grams because I was ready to convert, because you're in the US, I was ready to convert everything that you were saying in ounces into grams. But I had already done that. I'd already had my notes And it was something as simple as that that made all the difference. My classes were, because of her time and the time difference, made a big impact on the different women that I was teaching. So her in London in the 6 hour difference, she needed me early in the morning, which means it was late at night in Houston, Texas. So I had no problems getting up and teaching this class at that time. So those are the things that, had I not been a part of Wendy's network, had I not been exposed to how to do business in different cultures, then I would have taken for granted that something as simple as, I'm talking to you in ounces when I know that you measure in grams. It changed the game. And word of mouth is the thing that has kept me going teaching, and being, like I said, I can confidently say, a respected and trusted resource, and somebody that I'm aware. I see my students. I love all the ladies and they've all been ladies. I love all the ladies that I have taught, but something as simple as knowing ounces and how to convert them into grams and having that cheat sheet and getting up early and being ready when they're ready, has made a tremendous difference in how I teach. So I will say it once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it a million times. If you are ready, if you're at that point where mentally, now remember, mentally, I was ready to do business overseas. In reality, I wasn't. I was homeless. I was living in a hotel and living in my car with two teenage girls. So I wasn't there, physically. Mentally, I wasn't there. Emotionally, I wasn't there. But I knew that there was going to be a point that Wendy was teaching something that I needed to be a part of. So if you have an idea that you want to go outside of your country code, Wendy used to talk about your country code. If you want to go outside of your country code, you really want to be coached by Wendy Alexander. She is by far the best business coach when it comes to international, just all things international. Just the small, and remember, it was the smallest thing that she said to me that made the biggest impact on me as a coach, me as a teacher, that gave me the credibility where people are still reaching out to me from other countries because someone saw a post that somebody did, and so I'm happy. I am happy. I am thankful. I am humbled by something that at one point I was like, it's just soap making and it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. I am happy about it. I love it. I could talk soap all day long. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you from me. Thank you for my over 250 ladies that I have taught, especially the ones that are out of this country, that you have made me more aware of who they are, more aware that there is like life outside of me here in Houston, Texas. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot recommend Wendy enough if you are in the mindset that your business is going to go global. And that's where I was. Again, I wasn't there physically, emotionally, mentally, even, but I had that idea. And there was something about Wendy. She is an amazing coach and has just kind of changed my business life. And I highly recommend her. Again, my name is Nicole Peel. I am the founder of Jean Peel's Luxurious Collection, also known as JP Luxe. Follow me on Instagram, JP Luxe, LUXE23, and find me on TikTok. Thanks.